My name is Carolyn, and I talk to the spirit world. Travel with me to a dimension filled with love, light, and joyful surprises. Welcome to Carolyn's Psychic Playroom. Hi everybody, welcome to Carolyn's Psychic Playroom. I am so thrilled today to have with me as my very special guest my daughter, the very beautiful and talented Miss Sarah Ritt.
Hello.
And because we're a little short on time today, I'm going to jump right into talking about Sarah and what she has to offer, because I don't want you guys to miss a thing. So, Sarah is an artist, she is a psychic, she's an amazingly talented, wise woman. Sarah is, first of all, wearing some of her art today. And Sarah, if you could just speak a little bit about your art and also maybe share another piece. I understand you brought another piece to share.
I did. Well, I will say, a teacher of mine once said that I had the soul of a painter, and that really stuck with me because everything I do, and I work in so many different mediums, is painting. So I myself am the embodiment of a painting. And all of this is paint, even as it is fabric, beads, presents. There's an element of performance art going on. All of it is paint to me. So I also brought one of my paintings, which I created on a sewing machine. I call this Fields. And it's actually a reconstruction of another painting, which is another thing I really love about working with sewing, is doing all of my little scraps honor and reinventing them. So if one project doesn't quite make it, I may see something completely new in it and reincarnate it into a painting or a new project.
Well, Sarah, that is fabulous. And I hope that you guys will write into me later, psychicplayroom@gmail.com, and I can tell you more about Sarah, how to put you in touch with Sarah in case you want one of these awesome cloth paintings or any of her other work. But now, since our time is a little pressed today, I want to go into the area of your psychic work. Sarah is a brilliant tarot reader, and she brought in her deck today. Can you show them?
I did.
Your deck? Show them your deck.
So, I'm just gonna flip to a random card. Sun, beautiful card. This is all about newness and happiness, which is the way I feel. This is one of my more vibrant tarot decks. It's based on Rider-Waite, which is based on Smith-Waite, so very, very traditional. I tend to get stuck in tradition, which you wouldn't think in the way that I present myself, but I'm just a great lover of the Rider-Waite structure of tarot. So knights and pages and kings and queens. It's just a beautiful, I think of it as a language that I get to translate for other people as I give readings.
Awesome. Well, we have had, as you know, every week, or rather every month, I ask people to submit questions that they would like to receive an answer to on the Psychic Playroom. And this question was so deep. This is the question of questions. And so I'm going to put it to Sarah right away. I want to make sure that we have time for it. So I'm going to read the question to you, and then let's talk about it a little, because I think a lot of people feel this way. NK writes, are we supposed to know the answer before it is time? Her question is basically a question about questions. Are we even supposed to ask questions? Or is it best to just let the answers unfold in the course of living our lives naturally? Do we feel that the question, I think it gets to the whole idea of fate and are things predetermined and all of those kinds of things.
Yeah.
So I'm going to let Sarah kind of weigh in a little bit, and then I'll weigh in a little bit, because I have a feeling that many of you out there might be on that thing. Well, I don't know, should I really even, do I even really want to know, right? Will it maybe jinx it if I ask a question?
I hear that a lot.
Yeah, so tell me
Yeah.
your thoughts on that, Sarah.
Well, this is such a beautiful question, first of all, and instinctively my answer is there is really no wrong way, absolutely no wrong way to go about anything. The only thing is, sometimes we ask a question before we're really ready or receptive for the answer. And that can get kind of confusing and frustrating. Or we may ask way too many questions at once and bite off more than we can chew. To be honest, I have been guilty of that when I read for myself. Sometimes it's all a jumble and it makes sense a day later when everything kind of unfolds. But I will also say there's really nothing to be afraid of. This is a really beautiful way to get insight and clarity. Best possible outcome, insight and clarity about really any one thing that's going on in your life. So you may come to that answer all on your own. You may just need a little message in between to recognize what you already knew. I often hear that when I get readings, when I give readings. It's a confirmation for the person asking the question. And I think that's a really beautiful thing, in that we all have an inner knowing. So I'm not the supreme being giving the reading in any sense. It's almost superfluous, but it's such a wonderful vehicle for getting an answer.
That's well put, Sarah. And I would say also, yes, I have often been afraid earlier in my life, when I was not so into readings and into all that. There was a feeling that I would become dependent on getting readings, or that, you hear these kind of stories about people who can't, even get out of bed in the morning without consulting the cards to see what the wisdom is going to be. And I think that if we look at the tarot, or consulting a psychic or a medium or any of these other kind of things, as a tool that you can use to enhance your life, and that you always take any information that you receive in any reading as advice, rather than, oh, the cards say dun dun dun, so that means, it says death, I'm gonna, No, this is not how we want to do it. So, yes, I think...
I've heard that one a few thousand times.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
And I think it's important to understand that it is the spirit with which you ask the question, I would say, and you never discard your own critical facility or give power to a reader to control your life. But at the same time, just look at it as you would ask a friend for advice. If you were going to make an important decision, you would ask a friend.
Certainly.
This is asking a friend. And basically a wise friend that's a lot smarter than pretty much all of your friends. And this is a way in which you can, it's a signpost that begins to spark your own, as you say, Sarah, inner knowing about a proper course and direction. So, NK, thank you so much for your question. I hope that we were able to shine some light on it. And now we're going to move to our next question, which is from SF. And it goes like this. I feel I've lost my confidence and sense of direction. How do I get myself back? And This is a very deep question. Fortunately, there are two of us here, and we have two different decks. So before we go to answering SF's question, hold up your deck again, Sarah. Each one of these decks has different cards and tells a different story. And so by getting a reading from two different decks, SF will be able to have insight shining from two different sides. So I think this is going to be interesting. So I'm going to, being the mother, I shall go first. And I'm going to just kind of shuffle my cards here. And I'm going to ask the cards, what does SF need to know right now that in terms of recouping her self-confidence and getting a better sense of direction and focus? What does SF need to know? What will be the most helpful thing that SF can focus on to assist in regaining the mojo?
That's a beautiful way to frame this question too, which is something we do as readers.
Absolutely.
Helps get a little more clarity.
More clarity. And so my card is Will, Wisdom, and Mind.
Ha.
Boom.
Beautiful.
That is quite a profound card. I hope you can see it there. Will, wisdom, and mind. And what this says to me is these are the 3 steps, SF, that you need to employ. First of all, your will, your conscious decision to decide, this is where I'm going. I get the feeling that you have a lot of options open to you right now, and part of your feeling lost is that you have so many possibilities of things that are open. And to use your will and basically make a determination, I'm going here, I'm doing this. This is the will piece, just deciding. Then the wisdom. Allow your inner voice to come through and to guide you, because you do in fact have the inner wisdom necessary to know what to do. At the moment it feels lost, but this card is saying you have the will, you have the wisdom, and from there the divine mind will guide you. The divine mind comes through us, and I'm sure that you've all had these moments where you've had a piece of insight where a light bulb just went on and boom, this is what I need. This is going to come. What this card is reminding you of, I believe, is who you really are and the power that you truly have available to you. It may feel that you are lost, but in fact, you have all the power, you have all the will, all the wisdom, and the connection to the divine mind to bring through whatever you want. So my last kind of closing advice is just keep on keeping on. Make a decision and keep going with it. Don't second guess yourself and don't doubt yourself, because you do have everything that you need. And having made the decision and set forth on the road, do not turn back. Just keep moving forward and trusting that the wisdom that you need step by step will unfold. It may not all unfold at once, but step by step it will unfold. All right, and now Sarah will comment on your question, which I will read again. Shall I read it again?
That's okay.
She's
Just
got it.
Keep going.
All right.
That was such a beautiful answer, and it felt so full and so centered that I think what I'd like to do is just see if there's any other helpful information in conjunction with this beautiful answer for SF.
SF, yes. And notice that each one of us even shuffles differently. Each reader has
so many
their
ways.
own thing.
Yeah.
We have our own decks. We have our own flavor. And I hope that as you're watching this reading unfold, it'll give you an opportunity to see how each different reader might interpret differently.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So this is a really beautiful card. It kind of couldn't be more perfect as an addition to my mother's reading. This card is all about triumph. It is Six of Wands. Wands are fire. Fire is all about confidence and personal power to begin with. Six of Wands is what it's telling me, and this is what I'm learning as a reader to receive my messages, is that you've already won. There's something in vibrational form that's a huge triumph, and it's just waiting for you to receive it fully. And when you do, you'll see it in physical form. This is everything that I'm learning as a reader and just as a human being in terms of living my life mindfully and with energy and being centered and just being aware. So be aware that for as lost as you feel right now, it's temporary. And what it really comes back to is you centering within yourself, which is always true. But this is just such a beautiful example of that. And just knowing that there's something to be gained from everything you experience, pleasant or not. And something really good is unfolding. You may even be right in the middle of it unfolding and temporarily in the thick of it, or the confusion of it, or the uncertainty of it, but that's going to pass. So, yeah, that's all I have to add. This is a really beautiful answer to just a really poignant question. So thank you for reaching out and asking us.
That was amazing. So, we just have a couple of minutes left. So I just want to, you've had a chance here to see actually a very nice demonstration of, in a mini version of what you might get if you were to receive a tarot reading,
yes.
either from Sarah Ritt or from myself. And if you're interested in finding out more, I will say you can write me an email here at the Psychic Playroom. My address is psychicplayroom@gmail.com. And if you write, I will definitely write you back. And if you would like to ask a question, Sarah will not be here next month, but I will be here. And if you would like to write in a question for us to answer, or for me to answer rather, next month in our September program, I would be thrilled. And once again, you would write that to psychicplayroom@gmail.com. So in the last 2 minutes of our program here, tell us a little bit about what else you have going on in the field of either art or tarot. You had done some, you just had 2 big art shows, one at a place called Guilt, is
Yes.
that right? Can you very
Guilt.
quickly tell us a little about that? I love the name.
So, Guilt is a nightclub, and it's in the theater district of Boston, and it was the last place I would have expected to have a show, but I took part in a group show with other artists, and it was really a cool experience. I had to sell tickets. That was basically the entrance fee. That part was a little unnerving for someone like me, but I did get to basically have a wall of my work and give readings at the same time. And what I realize is that I work really well in bar and nightclub settings, which you'd think would be the last place to have a reading, but I love how not precious it is. I love the beautiful colored lights. I love the casual atmosphere of it. So I really feel like there'll be more work like that for me in the ongoing future. The other, I was a featured artist in a really beautiful clubhouse for people with disabilities called Webster House. And they are wonderful. As someone with anxiety and depression, it's not the easiest, so to have support like that is great. But I got to have 10 of my pieces, and it was wonderful.
So, everybody, thank you so much for checking in to the Psychic Playroom. And we'll be back, or at least I will. I'll be back the second Thursday in September.
Thoughts are things with the energy to make life better for you and for me. Touch the light.